Did you know your morning coffee might actually add years to your life? It sounds almost too good to be true. But research out of Harvard shows that the daily ritual of drinking coffee is linked to longer, healthier living. Not just living longer in years, but living better with more energy, clearer thinking, and less risk of serious disease. Before we dive into the details, I want to quickly remind you about our senior health community. It's a pre-space where you can connect with other seniors, hear from health experts, and get support for building habits that help you age well. You'll find the link right below this video. And we've put together a simple, free PDF guide that summarizes the Harvard study we're talking about today and shows you how to apply it in your own routine. You can download that in the description too. Coffee has been part of human culture for centuries, originating in Ethiopia and spreading through the Middle East, Europe, and the Americas. Coffee has long been celebrated not just for its taste and aroma, but for its perceived health benefits. Ancient scholars and physicians noticed that moderate coffee consumption seemed to support alertness and vitality. And modern science is now confirming what generations suspected. What's particularly fascinating is how our understanding of coffee has evolved. For decades, coffee was often viewed with suspicion by the medical community. Doctors frequently advised patients to avoid it, linking it to everything from heart problems to stomach issues. But as research methods improved and larger, longer-term studies became possible, a very different picture emerged. Today, coffee isn't just a social beverage, it's a potential tool for longevity. Backed by decades of rigorous scientific research, the shift in medical opinion has been so dramatic that many physicians now recommend moderate coffee consumption as part of a healthy lifestyle for older adults. Now, let's explore what this Harvard study actually found. This research was part of the famous Nurses' Health Study, which has been following tens of thousands of women since the 1976. This wasn't a short-term study or a small sample size. Researchers tracked diet, lifestyle, and health outcomes over multiple decades, gathering an enormous wealth of data about what helps people live longer, healthier lives. What makes this study particularly reliable is its methodology. The researchers didn't just ask people to remember what they ate years ago. They collected detailed information regularly over time, tracking participants' health status, medical diagnoses, and lifestyle changes as they aged. When they looked specifically at coffee consumption, they noticed a fascinating pattern that emerged consistently across different groups and time periods. Women who regularly drank 2 to 4 cups of coffee a day were significantly more likely to reach their 70s, free of major diseases like diabetes, heart disease, stroke, and cancer. But this wasn't just about surviving longer. It was about thriving. These women were more physically active, maintained sharper memory and cognitive function, experienced less depression and anxiety, and were better able to maintain their independence and quality of life as they aged. The researchers defined healthy aging very specifically, reaching age 70 without major chronic diseases, without significant cognitive impairment, without physical disabilities that limited daily activities, and with good mental health. When they applied these criteria, the coffee drinkers consistently came out ahead. That's what true longevity is. Not just adding years to your life, but adding life to your years. So what is it about coffee that makes such a difference? Coffee is far more complex than most people realize. It's not just caffeine dissolved in water. Each cup contains hundreds of natural compounds, many of which have powerful health-promoting properties. The most important of these are antioxidants, particularly compounds called polyphenols. Coffee is actually one of the largest sources of antioxidants in the typical American diet, even more than fruits and vegetables. For many people, these antioxidants help fight inflammation, which is the silent process in the body that contributes to aging and the development of chronic diseases. When chronic inflammation is reduced, your body can protect itself better against damage to the heart, brain, liver, and other vital organs. This anti-inflammatory effect appears to be one of the primary reasons why coffee drinkers have lower rates of so many different diseases. Coffee supports brain health in multiple ways. In the short term, it helps with alertness, concentration, and memory formation. The caffeine blocks receptors for a brain chemical called adenosine, which makes us feel tired, while also increasing the release of dopamine and norepinephrine, which improve mood and cognitive function. Long-term, regular coffee consumption is linked to a significantly lower risk of cognitive decline, Alzheimer's disease, and Parkinson's disease. Some studies suggest that people who drink coffee regularly have up to a 60% lower risk of developing these neurodegenerative conditions. Moderate coffee drinkers tend to have a lower risk of heart disease and stroke. This surprised researchers initially, since caffeine can temporarily raise blood pressure, but the overall effect of regular coffee consumption is beneficial for cardiovascular health because coffee helps improve blood vessel function, reduces inflammation in arteries, and may help prevent the formation of blood clots. Coffee gives a small but steady boost to metabolism, helping the body burn calories more efficiently. It also improves insulin sensitivity, which means your body can better regulate blood sugar levels. This combination reduces the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. In fact, some studies show that each additional cup of coffee per day is associated with a 7% reduction in diabetes risk. The mental health benefits are equally impressive. People who drink coffee regularly report better mood and have a significantly lower risk of depression. This is likely due to coffee's effects on brain chemicals like dopamine and serotonin, which regulate mood and feelings of well-being. Studies also show that coffee helps protect the liver from various diseases, including cirrhosis, fatty liver disease, and liver cancer. The liver processes hundreds of toxins and waste products every day, and coffee appears to support these detoxification processes while reducing inflammation in liver tissue. Let's bring this to life with some real examples of how people have incorporated coffee into their healthy aging strategies. Take Susan, age 72. For years, she struggled with energy crashes throughout the morning. She used to rely on sugary orange juice and pastries to get herself going, but by 10 a.m., she'd feel sluggish and tired again. This pattern was affecting her ability to stay active and engaged in activities she enjoyed. After learning about the Harvard research, she decided to make a simple change. She switched to 1 cup of coffee with just a splash of milk paired with whole grain toast and peanut butter instead of her usual pastries. This gave her steady energy from both the coffee and the protein and fiber in her breakfast. Within just a few weeks, Susan noticed her energy stayed consistent through the morning, and she stopped having those mid-morning sugar crashes that used to derail her day. She even lost a few pounds without trying, simply by replacing sugar-heavy foods with coffee and more nutritious breakfast options. Then there's Robert, age 68. He had a long-standing habit of drinking several sodas throughout the day, consuming enormous amounts of sugar without realizing it. His doctor warned him that this sugar intake was putting him at high risk for developing type 2 diabetes, but he struggled to give up the caffeine and sweetness he was used to. Robert decided to gradually replace 1 soda at a time with a cup of coffee, slowly reducing his overall sugar intake. He started with just 1 substitution per day, then gradually increased it until he was drinking coffee instead of soda. Most of his caffeine needs. Not only did his weight come down over several months, but his blood sugar levels improved dramatically. When he went for his follow-up appointment, His doctor told him he'd essentially eliminated his risk of developing type 2 diabetes just by making that swap from soda to coffee. And then there's Maria, age 75. She had always believed that coffee was bad for her heart, so she avoided it completely. She'd grown up hearing that coffee would cause heart problems, and despite decades of contradictory research, she remained convinced it was unhealthy. After her daughter shared some of the recent studies with Maria, decided to give coffee a careful try. She started with just one small cup in the morning, paying attention to how her body responded. She now drinks 2 small cups each morning, and she says it not only helps her focus better on activities like crossword, puzzles, and reading, but it also makes her feel more socially connected. She's developed a routine of sitting down for coffee with her neighbors several times a week, turning her coffee consumption into a social activity. For Maria, coffee became much more than just a beverage. It became a daily ritual that supported her brain health, gave her sustained energy, and strengthened her social connections, all of which are crucial for healthy aging. Coffee isn't the only factor that matters for longevity, of course, but this Harvard study shows it can be a powerful tool when combined with other healthy habits like nutritious eating, regular physical activity, adequate sleep, and meaningful social connections. The key is how you integrate coffee into an overall healthy lifestyle. For example, pairing your morning cup of coffee with a high-protein breakfast helps stabilize blood sugar, maintain steady energy. Throughout the morning, the protein slows the absorption of caffeine, preventing jitters while extending the energy boost. You can enhance coffee's health benefits by adding certain spices. Cinnamon provides additional antioxidants, helps regulate blood sugar. A small amount of unsweetened cocoa powder adds flavonoids that support heart and brain health. Even a pinch of turmeric can boost coffee's anti-inflammatory properties. Making coffee time a social ritual adds mental and emotional health benefits that are just as important as physical ones. Whether it's sharing a morning cup with your spouse, meeting friends at a coffee shop, or even having a phone conversation while you drink your coffee, these social connections support cognitive health and emotional well-being. Understanding moderation is crucial for getting coffee's benefits without potential downsides. For most people, 2 to 4 small cups per day appears to be the sweet spot. Enough to get the health benefits without causing problems like anxiety, sleep disruption, or digestive issues. The timing matters too. Drinking your coffee earlier in the day ensures it doesn't interfere with sleep quality, which is essential for healthy aging. Most experts recommend having your last cup of coffee at least 6 hours before bedtime. To avoid sleep disruption, it's also important to listen to your body. If you feel jittery, anxious, or experience heartburn, you may need to scale back. Some people do better with half-caffeinated coffee, or they might replace 1 cup of coffee with green tea, which provides similar antioxidants with less caffeine. The quality of your coffee matters for maximizing health benefits. Freshly ground beans typically contain higher levels of beneficial compounds compared to pre-ground coffee that's been sitting on shelves for months. Organic coffee avoids potential pesticide residues, and darker roasts may have slightly higher antioxidant levels, though the differences are generally small. Here are some additional fascinating findings from coffee research that might surprise you. Studies suggest coffee drinkers may live longer, partly because coffee improves gut health. The natural compounds in coffee can support a healthy gut microbiome, which plays a critical role in immunity, digestion, nutrient absorption, and even brain health through the gut-brain connection. Coffee drinkers also tend to have lower risks of certain cancers, including liver cancer, colorectal cancer, and possibly others. This is likely due to coffee's powerful antioxidant, anti-inflammatory effects, which help protect cells from the kind of damage that can lead to cancer development. Even relatively small changes in your routine can make a measurable difference over time. For instance, replacing a late afternoon sugary snack with a small coffee, a glass of water can help stabilize your energy levels, reduce your sugar intake, and provide additional antioxidants, all of which support healthy aging. It's worth noting that individual responses to coffee can vary significantly based on genetics, medication use, and existing health conditions. Some people metabolize caffeine much more slowly than others, making them more sensitive to its effects. If you take certain medications, especially for heart conditions or anxiety, you should consult with your healthcare provider about appropriate coffee consumption. Before we wrap up, I want to remind you again about the resources we've made available to support your health journey. Our senior health community is a welcoming place where you can share your experiences with coffee and other health habits, ask questions, and get support from other people who are taking their health seriously as they age. Our free PDF guide summarizes the key findings from today's Harvard study and provides practical tips for incorporating healthy coffee habits into your daily routine. You can download it from the description below this video. If you want to go even deeper into the science of coffee and longevity, our blog has detailed articles that explore the research in more depth, along with practical tips for building a healthy routine that includes coffee as one component of overall wellness. We've also included links in the description to some recommended coffee products and services that can make it easier to access high-quality coffee. These are options that many people in our community use and recommend, and they can help make building a healthy coffee habit more convenient and enjoyable. So the next time you brew your morning cup, remember it's not just about waking up for the day. It could be about waking up to more years of energy, vitality, and joy. Coffee can be a simple, enjoyable tool that supports your health goals. And when combined with other good habits like regular physical activity, nutritious eating, quality sleep, and strong social connections, it's one more step toward living a longer, more vibrant life. The evidence is clear that moderate coffee consumption can be part of a healthy aging strategy. The Harvard research shows us that simple daily habits, consistently practiced over time, can have profound impacts on how we age and how long we live. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time.